Have you ever stopped to wonder why some seniors seem to drift further into isolation as the years pile on, while others light up rooms with laughter and love well into their golden years? It's not just about gray hair, creaky joints, or the inevitable march of time. No, it's something sneakier. Habits we pick up, little by little, that silently sabotage our happiness, our relationships, and our zest for life. The worst part? Most of us don't even see them creeping in until the damage is done. But here's the silver lining. You can break free from them. And this video is your roadmap to doing just that. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on the 10 ugly things seniors do as they age that no one dares to talk about. Those quiet thieves that steal your joy, your connection, and even your health. You'll meet Margaret, a 68-year-old former schoolteacher whose story will hit you right in the heart, showing how these habits took root and how she clawed her way back to a life worth living. Why should you stick around until the end? Because we're uncovering traps you might not even know you're falling into. Number 6 will leave you stunned, trust me. And I'm handing you simple, practical fixes to turn it all around. Plus, there's a challenge at the end that could spark a change in your life today. So if you've ever felt a little lost, a bit disconnected, or just curious about what's quietly holding you back, this is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive in. Because the longer you wait, the harder it gets to rewrite your story. Not subscribed yet? Do it now and tap that notification bell so you never miss a video. Your support keeps this channel alive. And if you love what you hear, share it with someone who needs it. Let's get started. Comment 1 below if you're ready, or 0 if you think I need to step up my game. Now let's jump into number 1. Number 1, letting bitterness take the wheel. Imagine Margaret in her prime, a school teacher with a laugh that could melt the sternest principal, a woman whose classroom buzzed with energy. She was the kind of person you'd want at your dinner table, spinning tales that left you in stitches. But as she crossed into her late 60s, something dark began to settle in her bones. It wasn't loud or obvious at first, just a muttered complaint about a brainy day, a sharp remark about how rude people are now. Over time, though, it grew into something uglier. She'd sit on her porch, her once welcoming eyes narrowed, watching neighbors stroll by and grumbling, "No one even waves anymore." At family gatherings, her stories morphed into rants, long, winding tirades about how the world had lost its way. "Back in my day, we had manners," she'd snap, her voice dripping with a bitterness she didn't even recognize. It's easy to see why she felt that way. Life hadn't been kind. Her husband passed 5 years ago, her knees ached with every step, and her pension barely covered the bills. She had every right to be upset, didn't she? But here's the kicker. That bitterness wasn't just a reaction. It became her driver. Like a weed in a garden, it spread, choking out the warmth she used to share so freely. Her daughter, Lisa, started calling less, her voice tight with excuses. Her grandkids, once eager to raid her cookie jar, now sent quick texts instead of dropping by. Margaret didn't connect the dots at first. She thought they were just busy. But the truth? Her sharp edges were carving a moat around her heart, one resentful word at a time. I've seen this up close. My uncle was the same. A handyman who could fix a car blindfolded. He turned into a man who'd rather list the world's flaws than share a beer. It's not that life doesn't hurt. It does, and deeply. But bitterness is a choice, a habit we feed when we let every slight, every loss, pile up like unpaid bills. Studies back this up. Chronic negativity can shrink your social circle by 1/3 in just 10 years. Why? Because people don't run from your pain. They run from the storm you carry. Margaret's rants weren't just words. They were weights, pulling everyone down with her. So how do you stop it? It's not about pretending life's perfect. It's about steering the wheel yourself. Start small. Every morning, name one thing you're grateful for. Say it out loud. "The coffee's hot," or "I heard a bird today." It sounds cheesy, but it's a seed. When you catch yourself spiraling, Maybe the news ticks you off or a neighbor forgets to wave. Pause. Ask, is this worth my peace? Margaret got a wake-up call when Lisa said, "Mom, I miss the old you." Stung, she tried it. "I'm glad I woke up today," she'd whisper. Slowly, her porch grumbles turned into nods, then smiles. Lisa called more. The grandkids showed up with stories. Bitterness isn't your boss unless you clock in. Take back the wheel. Number 2, hiding behind closed doors. Margaret's house was her sanctuary. A cozy bungalow stuffed with memories. Photos of her late husband lined the walls, and her armchair held the perfect dent from years of reading. But as she aged, those walls stopped being a haven and started being a cage. She'd turn down coffee with friends. "Too much trouble," she'd say. "Church socials? I'm fine here." At first it felt like a choice. Why bother with the effort when Netflix was right there? But days stretched into weeks, then months. The phone went quiet. Her world shrank to a TV glow and the hum of her fridge. I get it, stepping out gets tough. Maybe it's the creak in your hips, the hassle of finding shoes, or the nagging worry you'll trip on a curb. Margaret felt all that, plus a flicker of shame. She didn't want anyone seeing her shuffle. But here's the ugly truth. Isolation isn't rest. It's a slow starvation. I watched my neighbor, Mr. Tom, do the same. A retired mechanic, he'd perch by his window, waving but never joining us for a barbecue. "Don't want to impose," he'd say. By the time he confessed he was lonely, his voice was a whisper. He'd forgotten how to fit in. Margaret didn't see it creeping in. She'd tell herself, "I like my own company," but the silence grew heavy. Her daughter noticed. Lisa's visits dropped from weekly to monthly. "You never leave, Mom," she'd say, half joking, half worried. Research paints a grim picture. Seniors who isolate face a 50% higher risk of depression. It's not just emotional, your body feels it too, with stress hormones spiking like uninvited guests. Margaret's fortress wasn't protecting her, it was burying her. So how do you crack the door open? You don't need a marathon, just a step. Walk to your mailbox, wave at a passerby. Margaret started with that, a 5-minute shuffle to the curb. One day, a woman with a scruffy dog stopped. "He likes you," she said. They chatted. It was awkward, but it lit something in Margaret. She joined a book club next, nervous as a kid on the first day of school. Soon she was laughing over plot twists, her house no longer a tomb. "I tried this too, invited Mr. Tom for coffee. He grumbled but came. We're buddies now." Isolation whispers, "You're safer alone, don't believe it. Open the door." Number 3, clinging to the past like a lifeline. Margaret's living room was a time capsule. Vinyl records stacked by a dusty player, letters yellowing in boxes, dresses from the 80s hanging like ghosts in her closet. "These mean something," she'd say, her voice fierce, as if tossing them out erased her life. But her home wasn't cozy anymore. It was a maze. Piles teetered on tables, chairs vanished under junk. Friends stopped visiting. There was nowhere to sit. She didn't see it, but she was drowning in yesterday, her present suffocating under the weight. I've felt that pull. My dad's old jacket hung in my closet for years, its leather smell a tether to him. I'd think, if I let it go, he's gone. But it just sat there, a relic I couldn't wear. Margaret's clutter was more than stuff. It was fear. Fear of forgetting, of moving on. She'd spend hours sorting old birthday cards, convincing herself, I might need these. Need them for what? Her house groaned, her peace slipped away. Studies say hoarding spikes in seniors, up to 6% wrestle with it, often after loss. Margaret's husband was in those piles, or so she thought. The cost was steep. Her grandkids couldn't play. Too many obstacles. Lisa begged, Mom, let's clear a corner. Margaret snapped, it's my house. But it wasn't hers anymore. It was the parents'. I saw this with my aunt. Her garage overflowed with treasures, but she couldn't find her keys. The past isn't a lifeline when it anchors you, it's a chain. Margaret's clutter stole her space, her joy, her company. How do you break free? Start small, one drawer, one shelf. Ask, do I use this? Does it light me up? If not, let it go. Donate, trash, pass it on. Margaret tried after Lisa's plea. She picked a box of old magazines, hands shaking. She cried, but then felt there, literal and emotional. She gave clothes to a shelter, picturing someone warm in them. Her home breathed. She did too. I ditched Dad's jacket, gave it to a biker who'd love it. The past matters, but it shouldn't bury you alive. Number 4, turning into a know-it-all. Margaret was a fountain of wisdom. Decades teaching kids gave her stories for days. She'd regale us with tales of chalk dust and recess heroics, and we'd hang on every word. But lately that wisdom tipped into something else. You kids don't get it, she'd bark when her grandson Jake gushed about his gaming app. We didn't need screens, we had real fun. Jake's face would fall, his excitement snuffed out. She thought she was guiding them, but she was building a wall, one smug lecture at a time. I've been on the receiving end. My aunt once trashed my playlist saying, real music died in the 70s. I stopped sharing. It's not wisdom if it wounds. Margaret didn't mean harm. She saw Jake's tech obsession as a flaw to fix. But her back-in-my-day rants weren't lessons. They were judgments. Seniors can slip here, thinking age equals superiority. I get it. You've lived, you've learned, but connection isn't a podium. It's a bridge. Jake stopped talking. Margaret wondered why. The fallout's real. Jake's visits dwindled. He'd text, busy. Lisa sighed, he feels judged, Mom. Studies show this dynamic strains families. 60% of teens feel distant from preachy elders. Margaret's know-it-all streak wasn't teaching. It was isolating. I've seen it fracture bonds. My cousin quit calling his dad after endless you shoulds. Wisdom's a gift, not a gavel. So how do you shift? Trade the lecture for a question. Next time say, tell me more. Why's that cool? Margaret tried it after Lisa's nudge. Jake mentioned a game. She asked, how's it work? He beamed, showed her a trick. They laughed over virtual explosions. I did this with my aunt, asked about her Beatles days. She softened, listened to my stuff. We're closer now. You don't lose by bending, you win hearts. Number 5, neglecting the mirror. Margaret used to turn heads, red lipstick sharp, blouses pressed, a spritz of lilac perfume. She'd stride out, chin high, ready for the day. But as 68 loomed, that faded. She'd shuffle around in baggy sweats, hair a gray tangle. Who's looking? She'd mutter, skipping the mirror. At first it was freedom, no fuss, no pressure. Then she noticed, cashiers barely glanced up, friends stopped saying, you look great. She felt like a ghost, her spark dimmed. I've watched this shift. My mom, once a style queen, hid in hoodies after 60. It's just age, she'd say, but it's not. Margaret's slump wasn't vanity's loss, it was self-worth's. She'd convince herself, I'm past that. But the truth stung. When you stop caring, you signal you're done. Strangers rushed by, her reflection faded. I saw it in her eyes, she missed being seen. My mom felt it too, until a clerk ignored her and she snapped awake. The cost isn't just external. Neglect creeps inward, confidence erodes, mood sinks. Research ties grooming to mental health. Seniors who let go face higher depression rates. Margaret didn't connect her sweats to her size, but they danced together. Her world dulled, she did too. I've dodged mirrors myself. Post-breakup, I lived in pajamas. It wasn't comfort, it was surrender. How do you reclaim it? Dress for you, not the crowd. Pull on something clean, brush your hair. It's a quiet I matter. Margaret tested it, wore her old scarf, dabbed on lipstick. A neighbor grinned, you're glowing. She stood taller, felt lighter. I pushed Mom to try, a sundress, a comb. She smiled at herself, first time in years. Small acts shout, I'm here. You're not invisible unless you choose to be. Reflect your worth. Number 6, shutting out help. One snowy day, Margaret battled her walkway, shovel scraping ice. Her back screamed, but when a neighbor called, Need help? She waved him off. I've got it, she huffed, pride a roaring fire. She slipped, ankle twisted, pain shot up, It's all we've got in. Weeks indoors followed, alone with her stubbornness. Didn't want to bother him, she told Lisa. But the truth, she bothered herself most, physically, emotionally, all of it. I've danced this dance, refused a lift with groceries, then cursed my aching arms. Independence is gold, but shutting out help, it's a thief. Margaret's pride didn't just bruise her ankle, it bruised her bonds. That neighbor stopped offering, her isolation grew. I saw it with my friend Sam. He'd lug boxes alone, saying, I'm fine, until a fall sidelined him. We want to be strong, but strength isn't solitude. The toll's steep. Refusing help spikes stress. Cortisol climbs, health dips. Margaret's I've got it echoed my own until I tweaked my back and wished I'd said yes. She didn't see it then, but her fortress of self-reliance was a prison. Lisa pleaded, let us in, Mom. Pride's a loud liar. It says you're weaker with help. Wrong. It's a bridge. How do you fix it? Say yes. Simple, scary, freeing. Next offer, nod. Thanks, I'd like that. Post-fall, Margaret did. A kid shoveled her drive. She baked cookies. They chat now, she's not alone. I let a pal carry my bags once. Felt odd, then good. Help's not a debt, it's a gift. You're not less, you're linked. Try it, watch the weight lift. Number 7, forgetting to laugh. Margaret used to giggle at life's quirks, spilled tea, a corny joke. Her classroom rang with it, her home too. But lately her face was stone. TV blared sitcoms, she stared through them. Life piled up, bills, aches, loss, and humor slipped away. Her grandkids dubbed her Grumpy Gran, half teasing, half true. She didn't mean to, she just forgot joy was hers to grab. I've seen laughter fade. My cousin joked through cancer, but my grandpa stopped after grandma died. Margaret's frown wasn't just mood, it was habit. Science says laughter's gold. It slashes stress, pumps oxygen, even sharpens memory. She'd lost that medicine, and her soul felt it. Her grandkids drifted, her days dulled. I've skipped laughs too. Post-deadline, I'd scowl at fun. It's a choice we unlearn. The Bushim connection phrase. People crave light, not gloom. Lisa said, you used to be fun, Mom. Margaret shrugged, but it stung. Laughter's not fluff, it's glue. My grandpa's silence pushed us away. I missed his chuckles. Margaret didn't see her joy-starved heart till Jake stopped joking back. How do you reignite it? Chase funny, watch a goofy show, call a silly friend. Margaret tried. A cat video had her cackling till tears fell. Jake joined, they howled together. I dragged Grandpa to a comedy night. He smirked, then roared. Joy's not luck, it's a muscle. Flex it today, feel the lift. Number 8, skimping on life. Margaret was a penny pincher. Coupons clipped, trips skipped. What if I need it later, she'd fret. Her savings a fortress. Friends begged her for a diner night. Too much, she'd say. She had enough, but lived like she didn't. One day, Lisa pushed, come camping, Mom. Margaret balked. Gas, gear, food. Then she wondered, what's this pile for if I'm not living? My grandpa was her twin, died with cash he never touched. I've hoarded too, skipped concerts, regretted it. Money's a tool, not a god. Margaret's thrift wasn't wise, it was fear. Studies say experiences beat stuff for joy. She had none. Her life shrank while her bank grew. The loss, memories unmade. Lisa's kids camped without her. She missed their giggles. I felt it, passed on a trip, saw the photos, ached. Margaret's later never came, until it almost didn't. How do you shift? Spend on life, a fun for coffee, a movie. Margaret camped, stars glowed, she danced. I took that concert, sang till hoarse. Life's not a vault, crack it open. What's your yes waiting for? Number 9, ignoring the body's whispers. Margaret waved off dizziness. Just tired. She'd push through, ignoring the spin. One day she fell. ER said dehydration, fixable but a scare. She'd tuned out her body's cries, thinking it's age, and it wasn't. I've dodged signals. Cough lingered. I shrugged. Health's not a game. Margaret's fall echoed my wake-up. Doc said, check it. Her neglect risked more. Strokes lurk in fine. Seniors skip 40% of checkups, stats say. She didn't hear till she hit the floor. The price, pain, fear, loss. Lisa cried, you scared us. I felt it, ignored a twinge, paid later. Margaret's body begged, she deafened it. How do you listen? Act, water, a walk, a doc visit. Margaret started yoga, wobbly, then strong. I got checked, caught it early. Your body whispers, don't wait for screams. Number 10, freezing in time. Margaret loathed smartphones, too tricky. Her kids texted, she demanded calls. Pick up the phone, she'd snap. They faded, texts piled up, unanswered. She felt abandoned, but she'd built the gap. I resisted tech, missed chats till I caved. Change moves. Margaret froze. Her old ways lost her Jake's updates. Progress is an enemy, it's thread. The cost? Distance. Lisa said, we're here, Mom. She wasn't, I've seen it. Friends drift from Luddites. Margaret's world shrank. How do you thaw? Try one text, one app. Jake taught her LOL. She sent it, grinned. I zoomed family. Closer now. Step up, time's ticking. Comment 3 if you're here. Challenge next. The challenge and wrap up. Margaret's tale is ours. Habits bind, but you can break them. Challenge, pick one fix. Say yes, laugh, text, do it today. Share below, I'm cheering. What struck you? Tell me, let's grow. Like, share, subscribe. Your spark keeps this alive. Age with fire. See you soon.